Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Daily Battles. I'm your host, Billy Neely, and just wanted to thank y'all very much for watching and supporting what we're doing. Definitely, it's been a great journey so far, and I look forward to everything in the future with this. Those of y'all that don't know what Daily Battles is, it's basically the untold stories of heroes and warriors that are overcoming PTSD and the battles that they face, that we face, and what we do to overcome it. Biggest thing is I would like to highlight on this is ways that we overcome it without using medical attention and things of that nature. And the reason why I'm saying that is myself. Unfortunately, medical did not help me too much. With therapists and psychologists, it was just something that just went down a road that pushed me further and further into the dark hole. So, with this, I've basically been driven through my passion of riding side-by-sides, and even before that, playing golf, and just things that I did therapeutic to help me out. Real quick stories this past weekend. I attended a riding event with the side-by-side, and I had the I guess you say the great opportunity and honor to meet several veterans and heroes as well. And one hero that I personally met, I'd met him, several months back, but just we rekindled our meeting this past weekend, and being able to present a platform like this has been able to allow me to go out and talk to individuals like him and just let him know that things are okay. By doing so, this past weekend, this man, he had a bunch of stress that was bothering him, and just things that in life and work and in things that were service related, it just bothered him, and it started stacking up to where it was bothering him. Well, I was able to sit there and talk with him and let him deprogram and just vent, open up. It was me and him, two brothers, and that man walked away from me with a new face. And that's the whole purpose of here with Daily Battles is we want the brothers like him and the sisters, everybody that's facing PTSD, and able to get out there and have the opportunity, the drive, and the enthusiasm to push it forward. So tonight's guest, this man, he's a United States Marine Corps veteran. I don't want to say former Marine Corps, because Marines always say once a Marine, always a Marine. But this guy, we've known each other for a few years. He's got a great story, great attitude. Everybody, welcome to the show, DJ Clark.
Hey,
DJ,
man.
how you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm just sitting here chatting with you, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's it, man. So first off, thank you very much for being on here, man. And I know that you've watched some of my episodes, and it's just been able to get out there and help a lot of guys, some of our brothers, some of your brothers, neighbors, and all of that. And I want to thank you for being on here, man.
Yeah. I know you, and I guess going on 6.5 years now. So this is something that you're doing. I want to support you. This is my first time on a podcast. So I'm going to try not to ruin it for you.
Man, we're going to make you a superstar after today, man.
Yeah.
So where's DJ talking to us from?
I'm Arnoldsville, Georgia. That's where I grew up in Georgia. I grew up actually in Cherokee County. When I got out of the Corps, my wife had graduated from UGA, so she was living up here. So Arnoldsville is just outside of Athens.
Good deal.
Home of the dogs.
Man, you had to say it, didn't you?
I had to.
That's all right, man.
War Eagle, man.
Hey, I didn't expect to hear that from you, but thank you.
No, I got some War Eagle friends. It's all good. It's better than Florida.
Hey, but your Auburn buddies, they didn't get you on the field during the Auburn and Georgia game.
No, they didn't. You did.
So you born and raised in Georgia, correct?
Yeah.
Good deal. And then I see, looking at your stuff, you played some college sports as well.
Yeah. I played football. I didn't really start playing football until I really got into high school. But I just picked it up, had a knack for it. Went to Georgia Southern University in 2000. I was a redshirt scout team All-American. But hey,
Look at that.
I was on the team. They won a national championship that year. I have a ring for it. This is before they transferred or upgraded to the Sun Belt Conference.
Look at that. I didn't know I was talking to a national
Yeah,
champ, man.
yeah, as a national champ. Hey, wait 2 seconds.
You gonna show it, ain't you? There you go. My man.
Got proof. It's even got my name on it somewhere.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah. Learned something new about you, man.
Yeah, man.
So, if I'm not mistaken, you went to college and then did you wait a while until you joined the military, or was it right after your college that you joined?
So I was in school for a year due to bad decisions and immaturity, various reasons. I dropped out of school, which was, looking back at the time, I think it was good because I just wasn't ready for it. It wasn't for me. Like, I loved football and enjoyed it. As far as the school part of it, I didn't care. I had zero motivation for scholastics, we'll say. So I quit school in the summer of 2001. I piddled around for about a year and a half. This is obviously after 9/11. Actually, I quit school before 9/11, and 9/11 was, September, obviously, that year. And I saw what happened. I mean, obviously everybody did. Everybody knows exactly where they were. And I remember being a kid with the first Gulf War. So I figured this was going to be like a real quick in and out, go stomp somebody and be done with it. That's what I was thinking. But the more I kept watching the news and seeing this and that, like, this war is not going anywhere. It looks like it's going to be around for a while. I was like, and I'm looking at my life. I was like, I'm not in school. I'm just working dead end jobs. I was like, it's just the Marine Corps. Like, it's time. I was 23 years old. So I'm not in school, no education, or very little education. I just had like this unction. I feel like the Lord was just like, you need to fix yourself. You need some opportunities in life. And like, this is like your calling. This is what you need to do. And just that moment, the next day I was at the recruiter's office.
So with the decision, was the Marine Corps set in your head? Is it, other family members in the Marine, or is it?
No, I went to the Army recruiter first, actually. I didn't really get a good warm and fuzzy about it. I went next door immediately, went to the Marine recruiter, and that was it. I was like, this is where I need to be. This is what I want to do. Not knocking any of the other branches, but it's just, that was what I wanted to do. It was best for me.
I give the Marine Corps recruiters credit. They got that drive and enthusiasm, and the esprit de corps that's always pushing. And the reason why I'm saying that is just a few days ago, man, I watched a gunny sergeant just giving a presentation to some high school kids, and he laid it out. He was wasn't very, very candid. It's like, hey, if you want to do something and you're not an athlete, and your mom and daddy ain't got no money, put your ass in the damn Marines and we'll make a man out of you.
Yeah. I saw the commercials with the slaying dragons with swords, and it hooked me. I'm like, I get to do that? Like, yes, let's go do the Marine Corps.
and that's funny that you say that, man, because we have a heating and air company here in Alabama, and it's called Excalibur Heating and Air. And in his commercials on the radio, he's talking about slaying dragons with the swords and all of that.
Hey, you got to piggyback off of what works, I guess. I don't know.
That's it, man. I just, but he does say something, and I've heard it before, but never really looked into it. So, what does Semper Gumby mean?
Always flexible.
Okay. I knew what Semper Fi is, but Semper Gumby, I was like, but I guess with him saying that on the commercial, that's a marketing tool, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you go into the Marines, man. Did you have an MOS set, or you was wanting them to decide for you?
Oh no, you have to be an idiot to go in open contract. They're gonna put you anywhere. No, I already knew what I wanted to do was infantry. Like I saw the war and I wanted to fight. Bottom line, I wanted to punish. I wanted to punish and lay hate. That was like that was my only goal. And the infantry was the fastest way I could see to go do that. So that, I mean, I did waffle between being a tanker or infantry, and my recruiter happened to be a grunt. So he's like, man, he's like, if you go and become a tanker, he's like, all you're gonna do is wash tanks all day. That's all you're gonna do. He's like, what you want to do is infantry. I was like, it wasn't a hard sell. I was like, yeah, I get it. Let's go do that. Infantry. Let's do that.
That's a little bit different with me, man. Brother, I went in as a nuclear weapons specialist.
Mm.
And, I am older than you. Desert Shield, Desert Storm, I was tasked out as a door gunner, man. And when I got a taste of the infantry and definitely the promotion side of it, I was like, yeah, I'm going infantry so I can get promoted fast.
Yeah.
And then just, and actually, after that, we had, one deployment before, 9/11 and stuff, but it was the same thing. Getting out there, doing the cool guy stuff, getting paid to tear something up, and getting away with some of the things that we did. Yeah, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
So where did you do basic in AIT at, man?
Paris Island. So did boot camp at Paris Island, and then we did infantry school at Camp Geiger. It's right outside of Camp Lejeune.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after that, we went to I went to K-Bay, Hawaii, was where I was stationed.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody says that. Everybody's like, "Wow, you got to go to Hawaii." I'm like, "Yes, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was hard to the thing that was tough about Hawaii was it's when you go on leave. I mean, you got to pay for your own plane tickets.
Yeah.
So you got your pre-deployment leave, your post-deployment leave. So as a E2, E3, E4, I'm paying $1,300 to fly back to Georgia. That's like that and being landlocked was not always the easiest thing to deal with because it's an island. Or not, is that right? Landlocked or sea locked, whatever. What's the term for it? But you can't drive anywhere. I mean, it's just a small island. So
yeah. No, hey brother, same way with me, man. After or my first duty assignment, Germany, and I was like, hey, I want to go home, but I kind of didn't want to go home, and it wasn't because it cost tickets. But when I started looking at cost tickets, I was like, yeah, I think they're gonna get letters and phone calls from me. Because same way, man. Getting a flight from over Germany back here stateside, man, it wasn't happening. And we only have one airline that we could fly then, and that was Delta.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we were not authorized to fly anything else, and I didn't have enough rank to get on the military flights where you paid like 50 MAC flights is what we call them.
Yeah,
like
I think I think we got on like Space A flights or something like that, like Space A MAC flights, something like that.
Yeah, but it was also the freaking horror stories. You get on a MAC flight and you might wait 4 or 5 days before you get a seat.
Yeah,
and then you go where that plane goes, and then you got to wait for layovers and all of that. So I just said hell with it. I wasn't coming back home.
That was so unreliable. Like I considered it, but the thing is, like leaving to go on leave, it's an option. But if you take one of those flights back to the base for formation, whenever your leave is up, they don't care that you got bumped from that flight. Like you're getting NJP'd if you're not in formation, regardless. Yeah. So it's you gotta fork up the money if you want to go home to be safe. Either that or get NJP'd. Yeah.
So I guess rewind back to basic training. When you get into basic training and that DI, that first greeting with them when you step on the yellow feet prints and they broke off into you, what was DJ's thoughts?
What were my thoughts? Was holy shit. I was like, there is no turning back now. Like when you enter the gate, there's a long road before you get to the yellow footprints, and I'm on the bus. We're inside Paris Island, and the whole bus, like we were talking and chatting, and the whole ride up, we drove from Georgia up to Paris Island. Everybody's just having a good time. Whatever. We stopped, we ate, but as soon as we got to those gates, it was complete silence. Nobody said a word. It's kind of an eerie feeling, but it just started on those yellow footprints, hot and fast. It was hot and fast. It didn't stop for 13 weeks.
Yeah, hey brother, basic training. I went to reception, and then it was very, very relaxed. Even though we had drill sergeants, relaxed, and you get on that cattle car and you go to your unit, and we're riding around the cattle car, and in the Army, if a drill sergeant wanted to be personal, your campaign hat came off.
Yeah,
and I remember his name, and I'll remember it till the day I died. Drill Sergeant Bosky. He was taller than me, a whole lot wider than me, in which I was about that big around when I went into the Army. We get on that cattle car, man. We start going around Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and he's like, "This is the bowling alley. This is McDonald's or a Burger King," and so on and so on. And we round the corner, and he said, "If you look out that window right there, that's your home for the next 10 weeks." And then you hear those air brakes pop. He puts that damn thing on like that, and he said, "Last motherfucker on here is mine." And boy, I was towards the back door, man, and that door come flying wide open, and I got, just stampeded. And lo and behold, I stand up, a little bit skinny female Drill Sergeant Jones, and it was, "Get down, private." "Yes, ma'am." And boy, you don't, in the Army, you don't refer to an NCO as sir or ma'am. And boy, she smoked me for a good 20 minutes before I got that Southern out of me saying yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. That was so I didn't have the oh shit moment until I got around the back side of the building, and I saw the beginning stages of grass that was turning into dirt.
Yeah.
All right. So did you stay in Hawaii your whole tenure in the Marine Corps besides deployment?
Yeah. I just did, the 4+ years. I did extend a little bit to make a third deployment, but yeah, it was in Hawaii. And honestly, my entire career in the Marine Corps, I probably spent 4 years. I probably spent 1.5 years total, maybe closer to 2 years actually in Hawaii. The rest of the time is either we were training at 29 Palms, California, or we were deployed. So like the amount of time I actually spent on the ground in Hawaii it's kind of minimal when you think about, 4.5 years of actually being there or being in the Marine Corps.
At 29 Palms, is that a West Coast base?
Yeah, it's California. It's in the Mojave Desert.
Okay.
So yeah, before deployments, you do your workup. You work on small unit tactics and squad tactics and platoon tactics, and so it all culminates before you're qualified to be a deployable battalion as you go to CAX for, I think it's 30 days. Just tons of exercises, ranges, and tank ranges, grenade ranges, just a whole bunch of different stuff. I call it CAX. It's the name's changed probably like 3 or 4 times since I did it. It was like CAX, then it was Mojave Viper, then it was something else, and I think it might be another name now. But yeah, it's to qualify the unit to be able to deploy. It's like
right. It's about the same thing with us in the Army as well. There's some type of a training post that your division, battalion, brigade has to go and qualify to make sure that, you meet the standards, but also just have the personnel that's willing and able to do it.
Yeah.
So what type of division were you in over there in Hawaii? I mean, were y'all light fighters, mechanized? Actually, I know you wasn't airborne. Or y'all just straight up leg infantry?
Yeah, our company was focused helo operations, so we did a lot of training with helos. The other company was like a track company, so that they did a lot of training more with CAC, but with tracks.
Okay,
but it's light. You can consider it's light infantry is what we were.
All right, so deployment wise, man, where all did you go, brother?
So I was in Kunar Province, Afghanistan, in 2004. Then I was in Haditha, Iraq in 2006. And then I was in Fallujah, Iraq in 2007.
Okay. And then, I know the answer to it, man, because, my first true combat deployment, even though I went to Desert Shield, Desert Storm, I just hung out of a helicopter and really just watched the sights from the showboat and all that, man. But when I went to Mogadishu, that was when everything set in, and I was like, all right, it's time. And what you were trained to do, you either did it or you didn't come home. That being said, was that some type of mentality, state of mind that you had once you had that first, I guess you could say, situation in the box?
Yeah, pucker factor moments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like in Afghanistan, like that whole entire deployment, there's lots of action, but like I really didn't see much of anything throughout the entire deployment. It's like everybody else was getting their fun and getting their action. I'm like, what the hell did I join the Marine Corps for? I was like, why am I even here? like our platoon was the company was split up. We had three platoons in Asadabad, and then we had one platoon. My platoon that I was in was first platoon, was in Camp Blessing, like a platoon size place. And honestly, like the vast majority of the time, standing posts. We did some operations. We did some clearing operations. But like the level of what I thought I was getting into, like, wasn't there for me. It was for a lot of other guys in the company during Afghanistan, right, for sure. It was big time. I don't know who else is going to watch this. I don't want to. But in my opinion, the platoon I was in was not the tip of the spear. We'll just say that.
Okay.
So they weren't tasked to go do certain things. And honestly, like within the 2 or 3 months of the deployment, like our LT got relieved of his command. So that just kind of lets you know where we were at.
Well, I mean,
which was unfortunate, man. It was disappointing. I was like, why? Like, what am I did all this work and I'm sitting here and not doing what I thought I was going to do.
Right. But I mean, another deployment, I mean, it did, you were able to get out there and actually do what you joined to do, correct?
Yeah. Haditha was a completely different experience.
All right. You got anything to tell us about that, man?
Man, that like it started with my second patrol. That first week, just getting mortared in the open on the street. Like I was like, oh my gosh, we're like, this is it. Like it's not if you're gonna get hit, it's just when. It's right. Like it's like that for everybody. Like every squad that went out, and like the missions we'd run or the operations, it was like a squad level engagements. So we just sent squad level patrols out. We didn't do a lot like company wide. We did some clearing operations a few times where the whole company would just essentially get online and go house to house and clear the whole city. But it was really squad level efforts, and it's not if, it was just when,
Right. No. I mean,
that was the first like contact I took was the mortars, which it frustrates you to no end because there's no way you can close with and engage getting mortared because they're so far away. And then you're in a city, like how do you even find them? I mean, the only thing I saw like before we got hit was I was in the rear of the patrol. I turned around and I saw some puffs of smoke at the intersection about probably 800, I don't know, 800-900 yards away. I'm like, I was on the radio. I was like, hey man, you guys see the puffs of smoke or dust? And it wasn't 2 seconds later, just mortars just like peppered our entire patrol, and nobody got hit, which is it blows my mind how many close calls there were, not just with my squad, with other squads. Like even getting mortared. I took cover around the corner of a building, and I'm seeing them blow up in front of me, and then one blew up on the roof of that corner, the corner of the roof, right above my head. I'm like, that could have landed like literally in my lap because I'm sitting right here at the corner, and it's coming down, and just it blew up, and I looked up and just, it's like what? Yeah, that's when I was like, well, this is what I signed up for. It's time to go. And it was a completely different experience than Afghanistan because things were it got real,
Yeah.
to me. It's like shit just got real.
And it's, those of y'all watching and listening, definitely as someone that's never experienced that, there's nothing in a movie that's going to make that real. I don't care what it is. You can try all you want to. You can go to the IMAXs with all the sound and everything. There's just no way. Because there's your environment that you're in, the temperature, your attitude, your adrenaline, and so much more that goes into there that. I know for me, brother, the first time after I dealt with an engagement like that, and we probably had 2 weeks wide open, 3 or 4 hours, a night or a day of time to sleep. And they was, finally said, all right, you can get some shut eye for a while. And it felt like I slept for 10 days.
Yeah.
But when you're in the middle of it, that adrenaline's going, it takes you forever to crash. But boy, when you know for a fact that adrenaline's not going, it's within seconds.
Yeah.
And because I didn't dream. I just went to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. That adrenaline, and that's a part of what's wrong with us is you start to like it. You get addicted to it. Like you want more of it. That's how my mindset was, because that's the time Sandy got mortared, but it wasn't really like the first firefight we got in was wow, that was a different level of pucker. It's all pucker factor. Every time something cracks off, it's shit just got real. We got to go to work. You know what I mean? But after that firefight, the first firefight, I remember laying down in my rack and just thinking about what just happened that earlier that afternoon, and I remember just being at complete rest and peace and happy to be alive and be like, wow, that was surreal. I don't know how to explain it, but maybe there's something wrong with me. Probably is.
Yeah.
I was like that shit was better than sex, man. Like that was nuts. Like just the amount of the noise, the rounds snapping, just laying hate, they're laying hate. We're running around. We had a guy get hit in the sappy plate, which is amazing. He got hit in the back, like probably just like an inch before it went to his shoulder. It just hit the very edge of the sappy plate, which is crazy. That's just one of many close calls. But yeah, just thinking about it, like I just remember being at peace at night and just being like, that was pretty cool. I was like, this is what I joined for. I joined to go like hate,
Yeah. That's the, hell, the fun times that, like you said, something might be wrong with us because it still sticks here, man. Probably a good example is last Friday night, man, at that riding park that me and the wife are at. We were watching some little races, and I look over, shoulder, and I start seeing the clouds changing, and I was like, yeah, that's not starting to look good. And then, I stand up on top of the buggy, and I see the ceiling of the clouds coming this way, and I see the bottom side rolling this way, and I look at my buddy, and I said, let's get the fuck out of here. It's about to get heavy.
Yeah.
And we get in the buggies, man, and I probably pulled 500 feet away from where we were sitting at, and all my buddies were in front of me, and next thing I know, I see dust on this side of me, and it's like a freaking cloud. And the only thing that I could think of is one of those desert or Iraqi, Afghani, just dust storms.
Yeah,
hit me.
Yeah,
and we clear it. And and this was where the mistake that I had is I looked over at the wife and I was like, yeah, that's the beginning of a tornado. And as we clear it and I look, this is, it's not a few hundred feet long. This is, 1,000 something feet of nothing but just dust storm, and no telling how many tents we saw flying. And as I'm taking off going down the road, I tell the wife that, that's the beginning of tornadoes. So she goes into, oh shit factor, and she's pointing at everything. And I finally, just in my calm nature, I reach over and I slap her hands and I said, stop, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure in the back of her head, she's like, this motherfucker's crazy.
Man, when you've experienced, extreme events, we handle it a little bit better than people who haven't.
Yeah. I mean, because,
you can keep a level head.
We got back to the bunker, and there's probably about 10 or 15 people there. And, their voices was way up here. And I'm like, hey, guys, let's get the chairs over here and start the generator. And, hey, has anybody got a speaker? It's just, calm and collective. And I could tell in their voices, they're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies said something to me. And he said, that's just nothing to you. And I was like, tornado ain't going to take my ass out.
Yeah. There's been too many other things try to take me out. Like, that's not going to take me out.
Yeah. And I said that years ago, and lo and behold, freaking COVID about took my big ass.
Oh, jeez. God, don't bring that shit up. God, that was a terrible, terrible couple years, man.
It was, man.
That was bad for my mental health. It was I don't want to talk about it. I really don't. But it was like being forced to do something against your will just to be able to so I have to I mean, my job is to travel for work. So I'm having to abide by all this nonsense. I'm getting tested all the time. I'm wearing masks all the time. It's like, this is so anti-freedom. Like, I can't even express how frustrating that was. I've been harassed more times by people than I can count. Even in my hometown in the grocery store, like I had some guy come up to me. I wasn't wearing a mask in the grocery store, and the city passed a law or resolution. I don't know what it was. It's not a law. They voted on something, but no, it's not a law. It's like a regulation or a code or something.
City ordinance.
An ordinance. Thank you. That's the word.
Yeah.
It's an ordinance. It's not a freaking law that you're going to get fined if you don't wear a mask. Some random civilian guy who just came up to me in the grocery store, started harassing me about it. I'm just trying to leave. I was like, this guy has no idea who I am and what I've done and the things I've seen. I was like, I will smoke you right now. I was like, you have like, this is like, I got better mental faculties. I'm trying to take a high road here, but I'm just thinking in my head, I was like, this guy has no idea what I can do to you.
No, I had
the thing that pissed me off about it even more is he looked at me in the eyes. He's like, where's your humanity? I was like, my humanity? I was like, you think I don't care about people? You think I don't love people? I went to war for this country. I was like, I care about people, and I care about our people, and I care about this country. Like, whether the war was right or wrong, everybody's got opinions on it, whether we should have been. I did what I was best for me and what I thought was best for the country. And this guy's telling me, like, where's your humanity? I'm like, dude, like, I was like, I can't take this. Like, they talk about an adrenaline dump. Like, I was like even shaking. Like, my hands were shaking, my knees were shaking because it was that fight or flight instinct just popped off. I got to do something. I got to like either I'm gonna fight this guy and go to jail. Like, that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna ruin my career and and put my family in a bad situation. I was like, so it was the kind of the slow flight. Just walk away. But I was shaking. It's just that adrenaline dump that I've remembered from, being in combat. Really, it was a trigger. Like, it just triggered me. I just got to fight. Like, that's what I wanted to do, but it's not what I did, obviously. But But that's all I want to talk about. COVID. I had a Karen
approach me, and I told her, I said, best thing for you to do is get over there in your airspace, because if you're in mine, I'm gonna knock you the hell out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was frustrating.
Naturally, she was flapping her gums as she left, but it's just again different time frame, or we don't need to be talking about it.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah. So and back to your time in combat stuff. Did you experience that tunnel vision any?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, that first firefight was definitely tunnel vision.
I mean,
The first time I did a whole Afghanistan deployment, never fired that's not entirely true. I did fire a 50 cal, but that's a whole nother story. Maybe we'll talk about it offline. But like in actual combat was that first firefight. It was my first round shot in anger, and
yeah,
the 100% tunnel vision. I just remember looking down the street. I was in the middle of the patrol, and one of my guys was in the street. So he's really right in my line of fire. And all I could see was this open window. And I just started hammering it. And I just got focused on this one little spot and just kept hammering it and hammering it and hammering it. I wasn't really looking at, I knew my team had cover. I had cover. But through getting, you get away from the tunnel vision part of it just from experience, You get into more shit, and then you can start thinking. As long as you can survive those first few minutes of contact, then you can start actually rationalizing stuff. But then when you start thinking and rationalizing things and composing yourself, that's when it can get even more scary. Like when it initially happens, like the shock and the adrenaline dump, like you just react and do, and you don't really think about necessarily what you're doing. It's just, I guess, the training that we've had. You just react to contact.
Well, in those that are watching and listening, where he's going with the training thing is actually where I said earlier on is when he stepped on them yellow footprints. That's the beginning stages of it. Is to break you down and move you into where you're into a muscle memory and not a physical memory. And
yeah, that's what boot camp's for. It's the mentality that essentially is what's happening to you in boot camp, but nobody talks about it. Is they brainwash you, like we're brainwashed like machines, like we kind of like, I don't know what the right word is. It's not like we lose our humanity, but it's just brainwashing and control is what they're trying to do. They break you down and turn you into what they want you to be.
Absolutely.
And you'll never be the same, even from going from boot camp. Like you're not really going to be the exact same person. The more I recognize like what they were doing in boot camp, like when you get older, you start thinking back, you're like, yeah, I know what they're doing. And trying to deprogram yourself. And that's something that the military has a problem with. They don't help us deprogram. They don't, they put you into situations. They put you into combat, and then EAS got out. Like there's no deprogramming. They're not like, hey, by the way, we turned you into a psychopath. Good luck in the civilian world.
Absolutely, and that's the main reason why we're here talking tonight, man. And so, with that being said, when did it start hitting you, man? And it just started affecting your life.
I can tell you when I like really noticed that like I will never be the same. It was during that deployment. It was about halfway through. The first couple months, the more experiences we had, the more contacts we've taken, the IEDs and the mortars and different things that happened. The way I handled it was just more hate and discontent. It's like I can't be. It's a scary environment. Like somebody's shooting bullets at you. Like you'd be crazy not to be scared, right? The way I combated that was hate and discontent and anger.
Yeah.
And that's the way I protected myself mentally. But I remember laying down one night and it just kind of hit me, like my mentality. Like I was like, I knew in that moment, it was just weird. It just kind of hit me like I'll never be the same. Like I don't even know how to describe it and talk about it. But I knew I will never be the same. There's no way. And I just continued out the rest of the deployment like that.
Yeah, it's it affects us, man. In which naturally there's been times that you and me working together and being around each other that probably with me, if there's something that affected me, I at least knew that the camaraderie that we have, even though that we didn't serve, that if I felt that I was vulnerable, I knew I had somebody right there next to me that had my back. And that's been some of the problems that going into the civilian world for me is who do I really trust to stand right there or to sit at my six and guard me when I'm taking care of this or that.
Yeah, that's getting out is, so post Haditha deployment, went home on leave. I saw some of my teammates, some guys from high school. There's a cookout, get together. I'm sitting around these guys. I don't know how many people are there, 15, 20, 25, whatever, various people. I'm like, we have nothing in common. I was like, I don't even know you. And they sure as hell didn't know me. Like the level of connection, like we were teammates. Like that was a big deal. We played on the same team for 4 years. I wrestled, played football, and like we were teammates. We were close for a long time. I talked to literally nobody. After that experience, I was like, I have no connection with the civilian world and with civilian people. There's a lot of good people out there. There are, but the emotional and social connection, like that was just lost on me. And then getting out of the Marine Corps and coming, moving up here to Athens to be with my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife. Like we did I think it was 4th of July. So she knew some people, had a farm, had some horses. They, had some guns. They did some fireworks, and there's a bunch of people there. Like the amount of anxiety, like being around civilian people and then being in that environment. And then I didn't realize how much, you ever see the people post that trash on Facebook? Like, please beware, there's a veteran in the neighborhood, so be careful with your fireworks because he's got PTSD. Shut up. Let people enjoy 4th of July. Nobody cares about your trauma and PTSD when it comes to the 4th of July and fireworks. So just PSA, don't worry about anybody veterans' mental health when it comes to 4th of July. Please celebrate it's an amazing holiday. It's taken me 15 plus something years to get over the anxiety of fireworks to where I actually can now enjoy it. Because I love fireworks and I love 4th of July, but it took me like 15 years probably to be like actually not get that anxiety and that fight mode, that fight or flight mode, elevate in my anxiety and stress, and it took a long time. But anyways, I kind of went off on a tangent, but being at that event, like I remember, my girlfriend sitting next to me. I'll never forget it because she was so turned off and irritated. But I was I was using her for comfort. I was like, I needed her to be like right here, like don't leave, because you're like the only one I really know. I was like, I didn't want her. I didn't say that, but that's what I wanted. I just kept rubbing her back, just that anxious energy. You know what I mean? Like,
a woman's not going to leave you when you're rubbing their back.
Well, it was the anxious energy. It was just off-putting for her. And looking back, like I totally get it. And she walks off, and I'm like standing in the dark alone, which I just kind of moseyed away from the crowd. But yeah, and I lived like that for years, for sure. Like anybody, any kind of social connection was only a Marine or a veteran. In the civilian world. Like I have a friend, I guess going on 15 years now, 15, 16 years. So when I moved up to Athens, I happened to move in across the street from a Marine that he was in Iraq, and we were on essentially the same deployments together. He's a motor T guy, but we became good friends. And like, he was like my only friend, outside of the Marine Corps.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate thing, man, is we definitely we have to pick and choose who we're real tight with, because it's not only is it hard for them to understand, it's just for us, when we open up, we got to have that person that we know 100% that we're trusting to be there for all of that for us, and then vice versa for us towards them as well.
Yeah. And your friend group should be small anyway. You should only have a few. You don't want to open yourself up to 20 people. You know what I mean? You can have friends and good friends, but you really want to find those 2-3 close confidants. You know what I mean? That you can really open up to, for sure. And through the Marine Corps League, so I started attending these meetings again the past couple of years. I tried it. I attempted it when I first got out. I was like, let's go. It's the Marine Corps League. There's some Marines there. They're all World War II, Vietnam. I'm I'm in my 20s, just out of the Marine Corps, and these guys are like 50 years older than me. I'm like, and I'm already like in a bad headspace anyway. I was like, I don't have time for this. I can't deal with this. But years and years later, I guess probably I started going again, maybe 6 years ago, and I met a really solid Marine there. He's my golfing buddy. He comes to the house. He takes care of my family. He loves my family. We love him. And he's been, kind of like a mentor. He's an old Vietnam veteran, older guy. He was a sniper in Vietnam. And he actually, I don't know how much you know about Carlos Hathcock coming from the Army side of things, but Carlos Hathcock in the Marine Corps is a legend because he was a sniper in Vietnam. Yeah. So he actually, when Carlos got hurt, he went back stateside and actually did training. So my friend, he actually got trained by Carlos Hathcock, which was pretty interesting.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, wow, man, that guy was like a legend. Like I learned about him in boot camp and all, basic Marine Corps knowledge stuff, and yeah, it was. So yeah, I got a few close confidants, I guess you could say.
Well, good. So, with all that being said, definitely one of the things that I like, outside of myself is having guests like you, words of advice to our brothers or sisters, and when it hits them, in DJ's words of advice, what would you tell them?
You got to understand yourself, and you got to know yourself. There's not one size fits all solution. Everybody's different, and you got to actually learn like who you are as a person and like learn your personality. You know what I mean? And you got to understand like all the stuff that you've been through, just from, I can't really speak to law enforcement so much. I understand it and I get it, but for my experiences through, the military, like the trauma that we experienced and the things we've seen and done. And, I got like one particular guy's face in my head that we killed. I can see that dude like right now. Like I see his face, I see his brain matter in the freaking floor of his car. But those traumatic events, like over time, they tell you that PTSD like just kind of goes away on its own, which, and I think in a lot of cases, yes, it can, and it does to a certain degree. But you got to understand yourself, and you got to understand your history. You got to understand the things how you grew up, your home life. Like, what kind of home life did you have? Did you come from a loving family? Did you come from an abusive family? What kind of trauma did you experience before the military? Because if you've experienced trauma before that, your trauma in the military, it's just compounded. And I don't think that there's enough said about who you are as a person and your experiences, before a traumatic event. You know what I mean? So I think you got to understand yourself. You got to understand your triggers. Like for me, like I didn't realize this until years later in life. I'm an introvert. There's different personality types. Yeah, extroverts, introverts, and somewhere, because I like people, I like to hang out, I like to have a good party, I like to have a good 4th of July event, whatever, Cinco de Mayo. We just had Cinco de Mayo, so I did a whole big Mexican thing. Had pulled pork tacos. It was great. I smoked the meat. It was but I like to have, but there's only a certain amount of time that I can deal with it before I have to go and not. I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, because you can't isolate yourself. Isolating yourself is the worst thing. But taking time for yourself, for me, I like to go in the woods. I got 3 acres in woods and a creek. And I like to go out there by myself, piddle around, look at, I like to look for artifacts and stuff. Like I find like arrowheads and pottery, but the main reason is it's just some time you can take for yourself and some peace and some quiet. And I should have led with this, but the number one thing is your faith. That's, if it wasn't for my belief in Jesus and God and knowing them, I don't know where I'd be without having a wife that loves the Lord, that's helped me. Because honestly, she didn't even know. I don't think she knew what she was getting into when she married me. I didn't know. I didn't know that anything was possibly wrong with me, or had issues. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm a natural person that was put in unnatural situation. So I haven't, that's in the way, I approached life at the time and still struggle with too, is I'm a natural person, and on that, and you get issues from that because you're not really meant to experience these things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, brother, that's powerful. The way that you put everything, not knocking what all the other guests have said, but I mean, you broke it down in a good way for people who don't understand is you're absolutely right. You got to know yourself. I know what I can put myself into that will prevent myself from reacting in those situations. And a good example is crowds. In those of y'all that know me, know that past 20 years,
a lot of crowds.
Yeah, I've worked around, crowds, hundreds of thousands, but I go to work. I very seldom, I don't go to those things by myself, or not by myself, but those are the things that I don't put myself into because I know that the anxiety, just the people that close to me, it's going to get to me. But it took me a long time to know myself in order to prevent that from happening. And then naturally to follow it with you, man, dude, my faith, unfortunately, I did not grow up in a religious background. And it took something in 2016 for me to open my eyes and really see the Lord. And, it's to the point now, man, where, bro, my Bible, my study guide, everything's right here, man. And I've just, I just completed a thing at church, man, called Freedom. And I was like, wow, the true word is freedom, man. I mean, it just opened me up and really put me at ease. And that's the easiest way to put it. So, I mean, definitely great words, man.
Faith is definitely, it's gotta be number one, because without it, like, I wouldn't be here. I don't know how I would be, 100, like, without a doubt. And, like, I don't go to church. My wife she doesn't really appreciate the word, and I've come to learn to not. I try not to use it like the word religion. It's more of a relationship. It's a relationship with Jesus, and like the word religion, it's kind of like there's all kinds of religions. It's like, what does that really mean? It's just religion to a lot of people. I think there's a negative connotation to just rules and regulations, what you can do, what you can't do, what you can drink, not drink. You know what I mean? I like the word relationship, and like I said, I don't go to church so much. I used to. I've been on and off. I grew up in the church. Getting beat over the head with the Bible and all that good stuff. But I tell you who I do follow is a guy named Damon Thompson. He's got a YouTube channel. Like, I would highly suggest. I would highly suggest to check it out. Like, it's a whole different view on who God is and like how and what He thinks about us. Like, I grew up when God was angry. God was angry and needed to punish. We're missing it. We're missing it. Like Damon Thompson Ministries. He's a guy out of Mobile, Alabama. Phenomenal. I would highly suggest people check that out.
Good deal. Well, brother, thank you very much for being on here. Thank you for opening up and really letting everybody know, your story and all of that. And naturally, I can't finish up without telling you, thank you for your service, brother.
All right. Thank you for your service as well. I appreciate the time. I'm glad that, you're doing what you're doing. If I have any, closing remarks, and I know we're probably running short on time here. We got to wrap this up. But social connection, man, social connection is huge. From the guys that you served with, not everybody gets the opportunity. I'm blessed to have had the opportunity to have the social connection with the guys that I actually fought with. And I got to say this. There's a guy that got wounded in our company during the Haditha deployment. He's in my platoon. He got shot and paralyzed. But now he has a foundation. It's called WWAR, Wounded Warriors Ability Ranch. So he has an annual gala and fundraiser every year, and it's coming up at the end of this month. So our unit has married our reunion with his gala to help support his foundation, and it's also a time for us to come together for 2, 3, 4 days and just be together. Like, I didn't know how bad, and we didn't realize how bad we needed each other until we started coming together. Like, I've been going for about 5 years now, every year, and it's remarkable, the social connection and bond that we have with my unit, and I'm blessed that we can do this. But yeah, social connection. Reach out to your guys. Call one person. Call one guy from your unit, whatever, law enforcement unit, your military unit. Just reach out to them. Just say, hey, what's up? Send them a text. Social connection saves lives for sure.
Well, thank you very much, brother. And I look forward to listening to this live, or not live, but when it plays on social media and stuff. And I know for a fact, man, you've touched a lot of people with just what you said tonight.
Yeah, hopefully you don't need too many heavy edits.
No. We got you, man.
Do you have the little beep when somebody says fuck? Like, you got to beep it?
No, I don't want to censor none of it, man, because
I'm just kidding, man.
If we bleep it, people don't know how serious we are. There's all the wording and stuff prior to it that if they're too stupid and don't read it, it's their own day.
It's on them.
That's right.
I got you. All right, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, man. Take it easy.